Hi, and welcome to Ellerby Math Notebook's lesson on slope. For 8th grade math, whenever we are writing linear functions, we are using what's called slope-intercept form. For slope-intercept form, the basic function is y equals mx plus b. In y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. B is the y-intercept. For our lesson today, we are focusing on the m. We are focusing on just the slope. Slope is a rate. Last year in 7th grade, you worked with unit rates. That is an example of slope. Often slope will be referred to as rise over run. Rise is the amount that the graph will move up or down. Run is the amount that the graph can move left or right. What we're going to do is we're going to find the slope from 2 points. And we're going to do 3 examples together. First thing that's important to remember is that when you have an ordered pair, the x value comes first and the y value comes second. It's in the same order as the alphabet. Alphabet ends x, y, z, x before y. Same with your ordered pairs, x before y. Now instead of rise over run, what we're going to look at is the change in y over the change in x. If you think of the y-axis runs vertically, it runs up and down. So that's the rise. The x-axis runs horizontally or left to right. That would make it the run. So change in y over change in x. Also, for our examples, we're going to make use of a number line, which I'm going to leave at the bottom of the screen. Just kind of help us out and demonstrate what's needed. For our first example, we're going to find the slope between the point 3, 2 and the point 5, 6. First thing we need to do is find the change in y. For the change in y, we are looking at the 2 y values. In this example, the y values are 2 and 6. What we're looking for, if you see on our number line, is the amount that we need to move to go from that first y value to the second y value. In this case, we are moving from 2 to 6. When you move 2 to 6, you are moving 4 to the right. So our change in y is going to be 4, and since we are moving to the right, it will be a positive 4. Now we do the same thing for the x values. Our x values are 3 and 5. So again, we look at our number line, and to go from 3 to 5, we're moving 2 numbers over. And again, it's to the right. That makes it positive. So our change in x is 2. And if we have 4 over 2, that simplifies to just a slope of 2. Now, with positive numbers, it's a lot of times not necessary to use the number line. You can generally see the change from 2 to 6 or 3 to 5 just by looking at the 2 numbers and doing a little bit of subtraction. Sometimes it gets a little trickier when you're moving down, though. So for our second example, we're going to use the points 2, 8 and the point 5, 2. Again, we want to start off finding our change in y. This time our y values start at 8 and move to 2. So if we look at our number line, we have our arrows start at 8 and move to 2. That is a change of 6. But you'll realize this is a change 6 to the left. Whenever you move to the left on a number line, those are negative numbers. So our change in y is negative 6. For our change in x, we are going from 2 to 5. So from 2 to 5 is a change of 3. This time, we are going to the right. When you move to the right, that is a positive. So our change in x is a positive 3. We have a negative 6 and a positive 3 for our change in y and change in x. That's going to simplify to a slope of negative 2. When you're finding the slopes, if both the change in y and the change in x are positive, your slope will be positive. If both the change in y and the change in x are negative, your slope will still be positive. If one is negative and one is positive, doesn't matter which one's which, but if one's negative and one's positive, that is when your slope ends up negative. It's much like a division problem. When you're dividing numbers, if you have two positives or two negatives, if the signs are the same, it's going to be a positive answer. If the signs are different, it's going to be a negative answer. Slope works a lot in the same way. Our final example, we're going to move from the point 3, negative 2 to negative 5, 4. This is a part where a lot of 8th graders have difficulties with their slope. When you're moving from a negative to a positive, this is where the number line can really come in handy. So for our change in y, we're moving from negative 2 to positive 4. And if you look at our number line, from negative 2 to positive 4 is a change of 6. A lot of times without that number line, people get a little tripped up by thinking from 2 to 4 and only saying the change is 2. But if you look and see, you have to go from negative 2 to 0 first, and then 0 to 4, so that makes the total change 6. And since we're moving to the right, the number's increasing, we're going to have a positive 6. For the x values, we're moving from 3 to negative 5. Again, when you're going from a positive to a negative or a negative to a positive, you have to get to 0 first and then to the other side. So from 3 to 0 is a change of 3. From 0 to negative 5 is a change of 5. So our total change in x is a change of 8. Since we are moving to the left, it will be a negative 8. And then we have 6 over negative 8. Well, when that simplifies, 2 goes into both of those numbers. So 6 becomes a 3, 8 becomes a 4. So we have the slope of 3/4. But since one of those numbers is negative, the slope is negative 3/4. Hopefully this has been helpful to increase your understanding on slope. Let me know if you have any questions.